मदीना को लीजिए तो ये तीर्थ यात्रा से इतना ज्ञान प्राप्त किया है, या खारज़मी को लीजिए, कोई भी मध्य एशिया में तो बहुत विद्वान लोग हैं जिनका नाम विश्व प्रसिद्ध है। इनके एक भी नहीं है कि जिसका तीर्थ यात्रा कम से कम एक ना हो गए। इसलिए ये बहुत बड़ी काम है, अच्छी काम है, इसका सफलता भी लोगों के लिए बहुत लाभदायक होगा। और मेरी भाषण
उल्फत जी ने अपने विचारों को वैज्ञानिक दृष्टि से भी उत्पन्न किया और साथ ही साथ तीर्थ यात्रा की जो आत्मा है उसको महसूस करके उन्होंने स्पष्ट किया। हम चाहेंगे कि आप लोग भी इस संबंध में अपने विचार प्रस्तुत करें।
मेरा एस गुप्ता मेरा नाम है, मैं पुरातत्व का पिता। 2 पुस्तकें भी आपके देश में मैंने आपके लिए लिखी है अंग्रेजी में, 2 वॉल्यूम्स में, आर्कियोलॉजी ऑफ सोवियत सेंटर वैज्ञानिक है। बहुत मेरा जो अनुभव है वो ऐसा है, नंबर 1 कि इस्लाम जो धर्म है वो जैसे हिंदुस्तान के लोग मक्का मदीना जाना चाहते हैं वैसे ताशकंद का आदमी भी जाना चाहता है। उसको नहीं जाने दिया जाता था 75 साल से, वो दीगर बात जी। वहाँ भी मस्जिदें हर गांव में हैं, वो मस्जिदें टूट रही थी क्योंकि उनके रिपेयर नहीं कराया जा रहा था, सरकारी पैसा नहीं था कम्युनिस्ट रिजीम में। अब आज भी वहाँ के लोग मक्का मदीना ही जाना चाहते हैं। यानी हमारे देश में जैसे एक नई जगह आ गई है मुसलमान भाइयों के लिए, और वो है अजमेर शरीफ। हम आपसे ये जानना चाहेंगे खास तौर पर कि मक्का मदीना छोड़ भी दे तो अजमेर शरीफ ने एक जैसे एक पाप अपने चारों तरफ से कर लिया है मेडिवल पीरियड में, इस प्रकार की कोई जगहें हैं क्या? मुझे वो नहीं दिखाई गई, यानी कम से कम मुझे नहीं ले जाया गया, और मैं नहीं जानता हूं कि कोई मुसलमान भाई वहां पर कोई ऐसी जगह है जो कि मक्का मदीना के बाद, वहां तो सभी मुसलमान दुनिया के जाना चाहेंगे, उसके अलावा आपके मुल्क में मुझे नहीं देखने को मिला।
लेकिन
the process of releasing spirit from self-consciousness to God consciousness implies liberation from that self-consciousness which is shrouded by ego and the limitations of mind. Since pilgrimage enhances faith, whose power dissolves the ego, it facilitates this process of inner transformation. In its beautiful story, Sri Ramakrishna, the references of the late 1981, tells us about the unbelievable power of faith. Provision Lord Shiva का डाक्टर पास हो गया है, उन्होंने नवेद नाम में पर्शियन में अपना बहुत डिटेल में लिखा है कि तो अनफॉर्चुनेटली वेरी अपॉर्चुनिटी उनकी पहले जो प्रिंसिपल ये है कि दे डोंट डिस्क्लोज ऑन फॉर एग्जांपल माय ओन फूडी ब्रदर डिस्क्लोज टू हिज सन the living experience of Sri Krishna by the Sufi Islam to the Kanta that cannot be denied because there is no question of lying or advertising or nothing is absolutely out. The effects are being found. So this Mona I discussed particularly in one of my lectures back in Munich because it was something very unusual for the German audience to hear a Mona how but it does. Because in spiritual things is already created. And that is the ultimate stuff. The rest is
faith जो है और भक्ति है, आस्था है, श्रद्धा है, ये तो हमारी तीर्थ यात्रा की आत्मा। बिना इनके तीर्थ यात्रा का कोई अस्तित्व नहीं। अगर आस्था नहीं है, श्रद्धा नहीं है, भक्ति नहीं है तो तीर्थ यात्रा नहीं है। ठीक है, हम और चीजें आनुषंगिक जो है उसके साथ ही वो भी आ जाए, लेकिन जैसे शरीर है, बाकी चीजें हैं, लेकिन आत्मा के न होने पर तो उसका कोई अस्तित्व नहीं। वैसी तीर्थ यात्रा का अस्तित्व तभी जब इसमें आस्था, श्रद्धा और भक्ति होगी। चीज हमको कमांडमेंट में भी मिलती है, वही चीजें हमको इस्लाम में भी मिलती है, वो सारी बातें अपनी जगह पर है। और अगर इस्लाम तो कहता है कि अगर आपने ये जो अच्छे आचरण की बातें नहीं की तो सब बेकार है। तो आप लोग इस पर चाहेंगे कि आप भी अपने कुछ विचार व्यक्त करें।
आई एम ऑर्गेनाइजिंग सेक्रेटरी ऑफ भारत साधु समाज एंड बिफोर दैट आई वाज Secretary of Mosque here in Nasir Development in India. So my coming to Bharat was around 1976, and that was also in Kumbh Mela. We have been going to the fifth Kumbh Mela, and I was with Swami Gunjan Das Ji. He was a great saint of northern India. He was 104 years old then. So I like to introduce in that point.
की यात्रा के संदर्भ में ये कहना चाहते हैं, जैसे हम लोग यहाँ पर आए तो हमारा मुख्य प्रयोजन है संगोष्ठी में भाग लेना, लेकिन आनुषंगिक प्रयोजन था वृंदावन जैसे तीर्थ स्थल में आना। मन की कहीं किसी कोने में ये बात भी थी कि हमें वहाँ दर्शन होगा और हम ऐसे तीर्थ स्थल पर भ्रमण करेंगे। इस यात्रा को हम कहाँ ले जाएंगे? ये तीर्थ यात्रा और यात्रा जंगल के बीच में कहीं होगी।
तो मेरा खुदा सूर्य को इस तरफ दिखाता है, उसको वेस्ट से दिखाता है। नहीं अब अपोजिट नदी का, पर वो काफिर हक्का वक्का हो गया।
यज्ञ यागादि का अनुष्ठान अनवरत रूप से आयोजित होता रहा होगा। यह भी संभव है कि सोमवंशी राजा पुरुरवा के द्वारा अवतारित होने के कारण नर्मदा का नाम सोमोद्भवा पड़ा हो, अथवा सोमोद्भवा शब्द महत्व का द्योतक भी हो सकता है। इसकी व्युत्पत्ति है सोमस्य उद्भव यस्यासा, सोम अर्थात अमृत को उत्पन्न करने वाली नर्मदा, अथवा अमरता जिससे प्राप्त हो उसे भी सोमोद्भवा कहेंगे।
The sanctity of a tirth are enforced by these rites and rituals which are considered as especially auspicious there. However, the real point is not to be forgotten, namely that just as a tirth is ultimately an internal quality rather than a physical place, so too the pilgrimage symbolized by the essential rituals is ultimately an internal spiritual experience. So this is the general practice so far so many rituals performed at the tirthas are related. It is very, I will take only 2 minutes. Purification by bathing is one of the most universal religious practices in Hinduism. The question whether a bath considered as a rite that absorbed sins was already known to the authors of the Vedic literature is discussed by Jacob Ensing. The merit of religious bath continued in later periods also. The Mahabharata and the Puranic tradition are well acquainted with the ritual ablutions at different sacred places. Most of the tirthas in India lie on the banks of a river.
The basic approach we're taking is kind of to make something which, say, a non-scholar could use, going to Kumbh Mela, and then he may see so many sadhus there, and so many strange things. So this would be kind of a guide to that. Sadhu.
Actually, illustrious academician like yourself and Rao Garu and so many of that, the other academicians, they can explore the feasibility and the engine. And according to that, the future generation will understand, because you people are the link between the past and posterity. So the present need is to culminate that awareness from beginning, and then to give the scope of study and enthusiasm among the people and the intellectuals. तो बड़ी बात यह है कि वही समस्या, the same thing, that is in our Braj Bhumi. Because Braj Bhumi is the linking source of all the sacred sacralities and the tirthas. Here we see the one side the Himalayas, the heights of Himalayas, and the other side the Vindhya, and then comes the ocean. So the one side the heights of thinking and the other side is the depth of awareness. And here in Braj we find that culmination and awareness of everything. Because Braj, that when we trace back to the history, and you people, the great scholars and archaeologists know that the Paleolithic and Mesolithic age and the early inception of the historical studies are also found here. So according to that, one can think that before the incarnation or the avatar of Sri Krishna, the Braj has been one of the highest sphere of source of inspiration in all walks of life. And after that was assimilated the incarnation in the enactments and the leaders of Krishna. Then it became more sanctified, and then we see through the sentences of history that how the Braj consciousness moves along the different diverse cultures. And along the Silk Route, then we find that the many phases of the history that has been culminated from the Mathura Kalya. And when we come to Vrindavan, the Vrindavan is the discovery of the great saints like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Vallabhacharya, Mahaprabhu Nimbarkacharya, and the other great saint poets. So here, you see, though there is certain things we can't really prove it historically, but that the source of awareness, which forges the link between the past and the present, and that force, that source of awareness, when Mahaprabhu Chaitanya came here in Vrindavan, and he was in that ecstasy and started to experience the Leelas of Krishna. And then he mentioned that this is the spot where Krishna played his pastime. And the same thing happened when he went to Govardhan. And when Mirabai came, she experienced the same. And when we see in the recent time, Ramakrishna Paramahansa came in Vrindavan, he experienced that ecstasy. The whole thing is, it's all right that to give the analytic study of that, the time and space and the chronology of the order of the history, which is dated in the time, but something which is beyond the time, which is the source of all this, should not be ignored. Our saints, they have been the harbingers of all this, and there a trace of consciousness through that experience, higher level, they have revealed something. When we see Mahaprabhu Chaitanya came to Vair, and there he went into ecstasy, and that was the time when he realized the meaning of the Vair. That means the one who goes never returns. Ramakrishna Paramahansa comes to Kashi, and while passing through
तैयार करने का प्रयत्न किया, जबकि कि सूत्र को मैंने भागवत महापुराण से भी और महाभारत से भी लिया है, लेकिन आधुनिकता पर भी इसे डालने का प्रयत्न किया है, विशेषकर हिंदी के स्वच्छंदतावादी छायावादी कवि जयशंकर प्रसाद, सुमिंद्रनंदन पंत और गोपाल सिंह नेपाली के काव्य में भी, यानी आधुनिक कवि भी इस तीर्थ परंपरा को किस रूप में देखना चाहते हैं, इस रूप में यह आलेख।
यह जो एक ज्यामिति बनी हुई है, जो एक भूगोल बना हुआ, जिसका प्रतीक गंगा और यमुना की सेतु संस्कृति के रूप में गोवर्धन संस्कृति है, और उसके प्राण स्थल वृंदावन में जहाँ पर कि वेणु का निनाद हुआ, तो इस वेणु के निनाद में जहाँ पर कि महारास का आह्वान हुआ, और उस महारास में संपूर्ण ब्रह्मांड को पहुँचने की सूचना दी गई, और ऐसा काम श्रीमद् भागवत में जिस समय इसका आख्यान रास पंचाध्याय में परमहंस सुखदेव करते हैं, तो कहते हैं विक्षरन्तु मनश्चक्रे, कि परमात्मा ने अपने मन से, योग माया से और इस संकल्प के साथ उनको अभिहित किया कि मेरे आनंद की सूचना पूरे ब्रह्मांड में पहुंचाओ कि मैं महारास की रचना कर रहा हूं, और प्राणी मात्र को आधि भौतिक, आधि दैविक और आध्यात्मिक इस सब के अभ्युदय के लिए पृथ्वी के और लोकोत्तर के समस्त आत्माओं को, ऋषियों को और देवताओं को, सबको इसमें आत्मसात होने के लिए आहूत करता हूँ। तो लेकिन फिर वही बात आ जाती है कि महारास में किसका प्रवेश हो। प्रवेश किसका हुआ? भगवान शंकर और पार्वती ने इसका उत्तर दिया। ये शिव पुराण की कथा है कि पार्वती ने शिव से पूछा कि भगवान, आपका जो अत्यंत सौंदर्यमय स्वरूप है उसी का दर्शन करना है। तो उन्होंने कहा, देवी ऐसा दर्शन तो ब्रज में ही हो सकता है। श्री कृष्ण की जो वंशी है वो इसका संदेश दे रही है, और हमारी जो सोई हुई कुंडलनी जो मूल स्थान में है वह जागृत होकर के और हृदय के उस रंध्र में प्रवेश करेगी जहाँ से कमल विकसित होगा और हमारे अंदर सौंदर्य बोध होगा।
I am trying to carry out the holy wish of Babaji Maharaj, and in the introduction let me mention one thing. It has been indeed an excellent inspiration which I have derived from these gatherings and the sessions. The Tirth Yatra ke bare mein, there is a mention in Oriya, Sakala Tirtha To Charane Badrika Jivi Ki Karan. The meaning of which is all tirthas, all places of holy pilgrimage are lying at thy lotus feet. Where is the necessity for me to set out on a long, arduous journey, either to Badrinath or to any other place? This does not mean, in any derogatory sense, to take away the importance of any place of pilgrimage. And it is a description of the divine beauty of the Lord and how he comes to the rescue of the devotee who takes eternal shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord. And Sri Jayadeva has composed this Mangala Geetam. So first we will sing this song. It is, in the beginning, it is Mangala Geetam. And one more thing that Baba wanted me to say is about the traditions of Lord Jagannath in Puri.
On the occasion of the International Seminar on Pilgrimage Studies, a core group of holy men and academicians assembled here at Vrindavan is participating.
Babaji, may I ask you what inspired you and your academy to associate with this symposium?
This has been the great inspiration, the invisible force of the divine flutist Sri Krishna, who has been himself considered in this sacred soil a great voyager, a great pilgrim, who herded the cow in the pastoral land of Vrindavan. So this idea ushered with this academy to organize this symposium and call the people from all walks of life and to become the voyager, the pilgrim, and tread the path of the divinity in the soil of Vrindavan.
Professor Gopal, please tell us the meaning of Tirth and Tirth Yatra.
The word Tirtha signifies a place where we cross the river. That way it can refer also to the crossing of the river or sea of existence. Pilgrimage provides the opportunity for communion with the divine being, with holy men, with saintly men. Pilgrimage has been started in Indian tradition as an alternative, not in opposed to the Vedic sacrificial system, because it is easier even for the common man to follow it.
Dr. Rao, you are a well-known marine archaeologist. You have excavated Dwarka. How has marine archaeology helped in establishing the historicity of Dwarka, and how the results of the underwater excavations is connected with Vrindavan? Both of these places are well-known pilgrimage centers.
Yeah. Underwater archaeology has helped in establishing the historicity of Dwarka by actually unearthing the remains of the city in the sea. And it has also proved the statement made in the Mahabharata that Dwarka was submerged by the sea. So the remains are at 10 meters depth in the sea. And further, I mean, that Dwarka, when attacked, the sea was defended, and some seal was used, I mean, as a mark of identification for each citizen. We have actually found the seal and all that. So the antiquities and the architectural remains that we have found in the sea have established that Dwarka did exist, and what is stated in the Mahabharata is a fact. If Dwarka is a historical place and it is proved to have existed then, and in the Mahabharata age, well, Vrindavan also must have been here, and you see, Krishna must have roamed about or moved about and made this a very holy place. Therefore, the historicity of Dwarka reflects, I mean, tries to support the historicity of Vrindavan itself, and such a great cultural center and place of pilgrimage as Dwarka itself. Therefore, underwater archaeology has tried to prove what Mahabharata says, I mean, about Dwarka. It will also prove, I mean, excavations here on land and in the riverbed, I mean, is bound to prove.
And the Govardhan cult.
Yeah, and the Govardhan cult, particularly Vraja is a very sacred land and all that.
And goes back to that Paleolithic and Mesolithic.
Yeah, Mesolithic. Because you have even pre-Vedic, pre-Mahabharata period vestiges, even this area itself, just as we have in the Dwarka area.
Dr. S.P. Gupta, we would like to know from you the role of pilgrimage system in cultural tourism.
Well, in India, the cultural unity is the only kind of unity that we have and of which we are conscious. And this is promoted only through the medium of pilgrimage. Even people coming from outside India always like to visit our cultural places and the places of pilgrimage like Kashi, Prayag and other places. They are not interested in our big dams or in our Tata steel in the plants. So therefore, this is the only institution, the pilgrimage is the only institution through which the unity of the country is maintained and which is reflected in their everyday life.
They visit Vrindavan also, isn't it?
They visit Vrindavan also.
Yeah, this is one of the most important place of pilgrimage and cultural center, and it has got to grow like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Vrindavan is the spirit of the pilgrimage as well as the living experience of...
And they even go to Mathura to see the museum, to see the ancient antiquities, the images collected there.
Yeah.
So that is a historical perspective, the time perspective, the space perspective. It is the pilgrimage.
Dr. Singh, S.P. Singh, may I ask you the philosophical significance of pilgrimage in the Vedic traditions?
Very significant question. According to the Vedas, is trying to search him in the course of all the forms of pilgrimages. This is the Vedic philosophy which we have behind pilgrimage.
Yes.
Is there any reference in Agni Sutras where that the emancipation of such urge is mentioned?
Yes, there are so many references in the Vedas, particularly in the Rig Veda, in the Agni Suktas, where there are references to points of pilgrimage.
But the tradition finds full mention only in the epics and the Puranas.
That is true. That is true.
Professor
but the roots
Bellary,
go back to that.
Yes. Professor Valerio, you are associated with the Krishna conscious movement. Could you please tell us something about the role of Krishna consciousness in the pilgrimage institution, development of pilgrimage institution?
As a society, our Krishna consciousness has spread all over the world. And it's becoming generally understood to know spiritual life, you have to come to India. And when you're in India, you have to know that to find spiritual life, you should come to Vrindavan. And so the pilgrimage effect is actually taking place all over the world. As a society, we're registered in every country in every major language. Editions of Bhagavad Gita are being printed. And we were talking earlier about in Russia now, we have many thousands of people who are chanting the holy name. There's Rath Yatra Festival in the city of Moscow. Now that the bloc countries are open, there's a massive surge of translation work going on with Bhagavad Gita, and it all spells out the idea of pilgrimage to India.
Do you mean to say that the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita has appealed to the Western bloc?
It's not only, specifically now in the Eastern and Western bloc countries, because there's such a hunger for this knowledge. Now, we're talking about people who are starving for generations and generations. Finally, this literature is coming to them. We have had
they are making their way to Vrindavan.
They're all coming to Vrindavan. We've had different groups of people from Russia. We've had parties coming on pilgrimage already in big groups, also from China, from all parts of the world.
Our Prabhupada Ji Maharaj, who has been the great harbinger of this inspiration.
He inspired this Krishna consciousness all over the world, and his idea was to actually direct everyone
he made the pilgrimage there and inspired thousands of people, and that has caused that the source of awareness that the people are coming to this holy land.
And the effect of this is absolutely incredible, because it denotes a possibility for world peace. And that was his message, that actually, if this knowledge...
Professor Beg, you have Islamic background, and you visit Vrindavan too. Could you please tell me how you synthesize the Sufi spirit and the message of Gita in the context of pilgrimage traditions?
When in the Holy Quran, God addresses man in terms of man's relationship with him. It is al-insan. The spirit of pilgrimage or Hajj is a transition of consciousness from one plane to another, from al-Arab to al-insan. This is fundamental. This is the fundamental, the meaning of Hajj from the standpoint of the Sufis. And here I find a consonance in the Holy Gita and the spirit of pilgrimage as represented in Hajj, because that too is a transition from one plane of consciousness to another plane of consciousness.
Yes, that's excellent. Being a professor of psychology, Professor Beg has been student of psychology, and also he understands the theology of both spheres of consciousness. The one side, the Ilham of Hazrat Muhammad, the other side, the Ilham of Bhagavad Gita. It's right.
Babaji, can we request you to bless our venture in the interest of the problems which we are facing in our national and spiritual life, and also for the peace and harmony in the world?
Let me add one thing more. What is the message of this symposium?
That's
the great thing is that something that ushers in our heart, in our heads, in our reasoning, in our roots. That is how the pilgrimage has occurred here first time, or we can say in academic way, it's a great journey that has occurred, the opportunity to meet together and discuss and think it about the in-depth studies of the pilgrimage. Actually, the whole world is one net of consciousness in which the divine flute is the uniting force. Therefore, the theology of the pilgrimage is to realize the unity of heart, head and hands. And this is how that the global consciousness, which is the awareness, which is the core consciousness, the message of Bhagavad Gita and message of all the great teachings of the great ones, and that cohesions in Vrindavan. This institution, the Braj Academy, was founded just to forge the link of this consciousness, and in that way, from Prayag to Vrindavan, the institution of pilgrimage at Prayag and the Braj Academy at Vrindavan has joined together to move this venture.
Jaya Dhira Dhuram